Good morning, folks. I am back at the potato bed first thing this morning, and what I am going to do, as you can see, I put sawdust around once they were up 4 or 5, 6 inches. I put some sawdust around, and if you can remember, there was tarp laid on either side of the row because it was grass, and I'm just trying to make this into garden, so I'm deadening the grass. Put tarp down, put sawdust on to hold the tarp down, right, so it won't blow up in the wind. And one, the sawdust, I have access to sawdust. 2, it looks nice. And 3, this is what I will hoe up my potatoes with, right, to grow sawdust, to grow potatoes in sawdust. So what I will do is I will move that sawdust up like you would dirt to hill the potatoes, and then I'll put another layer of sawdust down. And normally what I would do is go and get another load of sawdust and use that sawdust instead of scraping from the sides. But I just don't feel like doing that today, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit backwards. I'm going to hoe up with sawdust instead of dirt. Now what I have done is we've had a little bit of rain, not much, but I'll show you. I'm using my sprayer. The first time using it, I bought it like 3 years ago and put it up overhead and forgot it. And so what I've done is gone through with water and sprayed around the potato plants to moisten, well, to give them a little bit of a drink before I cover them, and 2, to dampen the sawdust a little bit more before I hill, because of what I want to do is I want to hill with damp sawdust to keep the potatoes cool and moist, right? Potatoes like to grow in cool, moist conditions with sun. Now the sun will hit this over here, but not until about 10 o'clock in the afternoon. But then from there on, it'll get mostly sun. So that's what I am doing. I will put a little fertilizer down on either side of the row and a little bit of blood meal, and then that is it, and then I will hoe. So that's where I am so far. So here's my blood meal. The mice in storage outside was nice enough to put a little hole in the blood meal bag, so I'm just using that as a little spout. And all I am doing is just putting just a little bit. You don't need much. Oh, that elastic is hindering that a little bit. There we go. So now that I've put a little blood meal down around, I'm going to put 10-10-10 fertilizer. What I'm going to do is just sprinkle it out a little bit. So now that I've got the blood meal on there and the fertilizer broadcast out, I am going again with another, I don't know, gallon, probably another gallon of water, and I'm just going to wet that fertilizer and the blood meal. I want everything damp when it goes in around the potatoes. I want to wash that blood meal off that went onto the leaves, put it onto the ground, dampen it. I think I got a plug. I think I'm plugged up a little bit. Okay, so now folks, all I'm going to do is hoe the damp sawdust with the blood meal and the fertilizer. I'm just gonna hoe it up around the plants. Just like you would do it, folks. Get it right up next to the plants. So there it is, folks. There it is. I don't know if you can see that. The sun is really not the right place, but potatoes are all hoed up. And this row, where am I? This row over here, right here, is not ready to hoe up yet, but by the end of the week it will be. So as I work this row here, like maybe next week or the week after, what I will do is put just a little bit more fertilizer down, a little bit more blood meal down, and then I will hoe up again. And then I might have to do it one more time. But as I hoe up, the mound is going to get wider on either side, right? So when the potato plant grows and blossoms out, starts, and sets out tubers, the small potatoes, they'll go away from the plant. They'll go right into that nice moist sawdust, and they'll be clean when I harvest them. Now I want to remind you that this is brand new ground that I am working in, but so far the way I've been amending it, the potatoes look just fine. But just because you have a pretty potato does not mean that potato plant does not mean that you're going to have an abundance of potatoes the first year, right? But I can tell you, if I planted potatoes here for the next 2 years after this year, so 3 years, the potatoes will be large, and there'll be plenty on each potato plant, and they'll come out nice and clean, right? So that's just how I do it, and I'll keep bringing you along as I work my potato rows. Thank you.